Losing 124 today, trading Tesla and a couple other things. So a lot to talk about in today's trade recap. We haven't had a trade recap in a while because I just haven't had any closed out trades. But today closed out a lot of trades. Well, 3 trades technically. And so there's one open, which I'll talk about as well. So let's just get right into it. So today we lost 124. And I'm not super surprised with that, and there's a couple things I could have done to prevent that or potentially be on the plus side of that, and I'll get into those charts and those examples here in a second. The first trades that we have, or I guess the bottom of this is closed out. We had a McDonald's long. We had a Berkshire Hathaway long, which actually made about $140. We lost just under $100 on McDonald's, and then we lost about $170 or so on Tesla. It has it logged as 2 trades, but realistically it was 1 trade. I just didn't put my stop where I wanted to put it. So I re-entered it with the stop where I should have had it put, and then it lost. Those usually end up losing for me anyway, so I probably could have avoided the extra $60 that we lost. But, you know, it is what it is. That's just what I did. I'm going to be honest, and it's just, you know, it's tracked, journaled, and logged. The Tesla trade, though, we'll get into. This one is not my most... I think there's a little FOMO involved in this one. So let's just get into all the charts here. Before I get into those, the only open position I still have is on the Dow. So I'm essentially just long the Dow because this breakout level is still holding. My stop is actually below the breaking candle low, which is down here on the Dow. So it's honestly kind of a pain. As I film this video, I mean, things could change when this gets posted because it might not get posted right away. But I'm making the trade recap anyway. So we'll see, and it's really irrelevant. It's just the trade that I have on. So that is the deal. But let's start with McDonald's. So MCD, this is the thing is I haven't traded McDonald's, I don't think ever, but chart setup presented itself, so I said, let's go for it. Here's the trade on McDonald's. Really, we have, honestly, I should actually adjust this, how I track it. It was more of a weekly chart trade. So if I adjust this, you have the weekly chart right here. You kind of have a you have a consolidation break to the upside, and you have a close on the weekly candle here at a new all-time high, which is above resistance right here. So I like that, and what ended up happening was we got this we got a push. I got in on the day on Friday the 19th, and then like the Dow hasn't done anything, McDonald's hasn't done anything. It's just sitting here, and actually today it looks pretty weak, and so I'm saying to myself, my original stop loss was around 296, which we just about hit today. But I got out a little bit earlier than that. I just didn't like what I was seeing price action wise. And at this point in time, I'm clearly not right in terms of the timing of the momentum move here. So it could totally be, chart looks good, but just didn't work for my strategy. And I'm not super surprised there. So I'm actually going to come in here and adjust this. This is actually on the weekly time frame that I discovered this idea. So I'm just going to make sure I re-journal that, re-log that properly. Okay. So we had McDonald's, then we have Berkshire Hathaway. Let's dive into that. So BRKB. So this is the chart of Berkshire Hathaway. Absolute beaut. The thing is, I didn't really size in very large on this or the McDonald's trade. And what I ended up doing was I ended up moving my stop loss to underneath around this 366.50 area. So when I entered here at around 370 and I moved my stop there, a 2-to-1 risk reward then turns into 380, which we pretty much tagged today. So I said, okay, well, I'm happy with those gains. I'm going to take the 2-to-1. My original stop was actually down here, looking at more of a bigger picture swing. I thought to myself, why would I trade that way? I'm looking to capitalize off momentum and not like, you know, some trend slow action. So no, the stop should be here. I readjusted the stop, especially as we close very strong. The stop goes to here, and we go from there. And so the 2-to-1 is around 380. Not to mention, here's another thing that I want to, you know, put into your or at least that allowed me to be like, yep, I'm just going to take this one off. I don't want to hold over the weekend if I don't have to. There's more swap fees on the broker that I'm using or with the platform I'm using. If you're holding over the weekend, it's a little, you know, it's like 3 days of fees. Versus one overnight is not a big deal. A couple overnights, not a big deal, but when you add the weekend in there, eh. Second, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. Look back on this chart and spot another time where we saw 6 green days in a row. Not very often. Not very often at all over the past year plus. So I'm saying to myself, this could keep going. It's at all-time highs. It could keep going. It could go to 390. It can go to 400. However, the odds of it having a 7th, 8th, 9th green day in a row are diminishing, right, as we go higher. And so I feel like it's just not worth having to hold that, deal with a red day, then hold over the weekend, deal with the swap fees over the weekend, and then maybe end up stopping out, break even or something like that after all. Who knows, right? So I'm going to take my gains when I had the biggest momentum push. So that was it. There's going to be there probably needs to be a little more dialing in of the strategy when it comes to some of these new stocks that I haven't really traded very much of as of late. But you had an example right there of McDonald's, which was one that we haven't traded. I've never traded Berkshire Hathaway. We traded both of those and we net a positive, a very slight positive after both of them, but we net a positive, even after commissions, we net a positive on that. And so I'm happy with what it is. That's all I can say. I'm happy with it. It's fine. So that was that. And that was a 140 gain. Then we got Tesla. These two, just assume, pretty much turn them into one trade. That's what I'm going to go off of, and I'll explain why here as well. So this, I think, stems a little bit of FOMO to a degree, right? So I'll explain where that came from. So obviously, stocks trending down. This is shorts. I don't look for long. Stocks trending down on the higher time frames. We're looking shorts. So give me the 5-minute chart. What do we got? And this is what I watched this happen, and I saw it happen, but I saw it a little late. And so I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I literally, when I saw the chart, Tesla was right here. It was actually underneath 185. In looking back, it would have ended up still working. However, I did not trade this breakdown. This is bread and butter, what I trade. Like, this is what I trade, right? I was late, wasn't watching, wasn't paying attention at the time. Didn't see it, and this is around almost noon, so okay, like it's generally not a time that I'm usually watching stocks anyway. But I happened to see it out of the corner of my eye, missed it, drew the line in there, and was like, yeah, I'll come back and check in how it does later. So massive move, right? This is after earnings as well yesterday. Then I seen them. I say, oh well, let's see what we got. Well, you know what? Tesla's actually setting up in another little flag here. It's now a trending flag, right? But this is a bear flag, so it's a simple bear flag. However, I don't usually trade. I trade essentially bull and bear flags, more horizontal breaks. I don't trade very many. I haven't traded very many trend line breaks. I just haven't liked how they have panned out for me in the past. Horizontal tends to work better for me. The way I trade, my style, how I risk things, all that stuff, which is a factor for everyone, right? So it's not like you can trade. You can have the same general concept for trading, but you can trade differently, and you can do very well with these, and I might not. So I enter here on this break, and a little push in my direction, then it stops me out. Now, I got stopped out right here, which was actually just shy of 182. And then I moved my stop, or then I re-entered the thing to move my stop to the top here, which then shortly after it got stopped out. So that's the two trades on Tesla. But that was the idea. So the idea was there. The problem is, again, now you don't have to tell me, yeah, it's down how much percent. Yeah, I know. I'm well aware. I'm going to trade the charts that I see and how the setups are looking to me. So looking back, this was the opportunity. This was, yes, secondary. If this would have worked, if this breakdown would have worked and Tesla went down sub 180, I mean, that would honestly have been insane. The move by itself down $25 is pretty nuts, but that would have been even more insane if it went down like $30 on the day. Down a lot, a little bit of FOMO. I think I felt that I missed this since I wanted to get a piece of Tesla, because I was like, yeah, I saw this, I had it, I should have had the trade. Just, the risk reward would have been great. If you just do the math on what this could have been, even if you risk the top of that consolidation, you would have had, 1, 2, maybe you're looking like 3 to 1 risk reward on that, which would have been great. Obviously, that's from break to low of day. Not saying you're going to capitalize the whole way, but you wouldn't. There would be no way I would lose on that trade. You know what I mean? So it would have been easy money. Easy money. Careful with how you say that. But I can go in here. I'm going to go and add in a mistake. This is something that I'm going to I'm going to put chased as my mistake here because I just didn't need to trade it. It was down a lot on the day. It wasn't like the perfect setup for me. And I'm just not going to, yeah, I'm going to say that I'm going to mark it as I chased. So we'll mark those. I haven't had too many mistakes over the past couple months, like where I do something like that. And that's not even that bad. That's kind of borderline, right? There's worse mistakes. There's stuff that, in the past I would trade, completely against my strategy. I did not do that here. Against my strategy would be, go long. And maybe it works, but that would not be what there is no sign on the higher time frames, even on the 5 minute, like there's nothing that says go long this. And I don't play bounces. So I don't, that would have been bad. If I did that, and the thing is it could work, but the problem is that once you do it once, you're starting to tell yourself, oh, well, it worked last time. Subconsciously, well, it worked last time. And then it opens the door for you to do it again, So you have to always stay on top of that, because if you aren't, it can end up causing bigger problems down the road. And trading against your strategy or doing something that's not a part of your strategy is, the first piece. Then all of a sudden you move a stop loss. Then all of a sudden, you don't take profits when you said you were going to take profits, and it can unravel. So you just got to make sure you're on top of that. And seeing that has me pretty much set for likely no trades tomorrow. There's tomorrow's Friday. There's a chance. Well, there's PCE data, so maybe we do have trades tomorrow. We'll see, but there's a good chance I don't. Just because I'm kind of feeling a little shaky off how I handled this, and so I'm like, you know what? Let's just pump the brakes, not push anything. There's no need to do anything. So this is TradeZella. For the month, this has been honestly, in my view, kind of a shitty month. We're 47% win rate. Yeah, our average win loss is good, but made a few $100s. It feels like it's just not providing, even though the market's been going up, it just hasn't been providing me great opportunities. And so I'm not going to try to push, and force stuff, as you see kind of with Tesla. I could have avoided that and finished the day green technically, right, with the overall. Here is the one of one dashboard account. So we are currently up like $150 on the account. It says that I have only won 9 trades and it has 32 losses. The 32 losses is because it counts every commission that I pay as a loss for whatever reason. So whatever. But that's not what TradeZella tracks. TradeZella just tracks the P&L. This is just tracking the actual numbers based off the prop firm. So it's kind of like we're just treading water is how I feel. But I don't really have a time limit. I don't have a rush. I don't really care, to be honest, with what happens. So we'll see what happens from here. But this is the dashboard. It's how it looks. And so the account's been looking as of late. So all eyes now go to the Dow, and you'll know, like, without even me doing a recap, like if it goes, up in the coming days, well, probably not going to have a take profit anytime soon. But if it does well into next week, we'll get out. If it doesn't, we break down below here, then we're probably going to get stopped out, which is down right here. So whatever happens first, is that. Now, this is a little bit of a larger position, I believe, compared. So if we do hit the loss, probably lose like 200-ish. And if we get to take profit, probably make 400. I just felt better on the daily charts and being familiar with trading the Dow that, I can go a little bit larger and knowing that it's futures. So knowing that the only risk is over the weekend, everything else, it trades continuously. So I'm not at a massive risk of it gapping down huge and stopping me out way below. Obviously, there's the weekend hold risk, but that's the update. So that's the current status of the accounts and everything. So curious how things play out, but that's how things are shaking out. This, again, I'll link up down below, TradeZella, how I track it all in the description box. And yeah, thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.